Hello, all, and welcome to the weekly podcast. I am your host, Gurtej Atwal. I have my co host, Deep Tillo, with me today. Today, we are starting a new series under the weekly podcast, which is presented by Genco Bay Area Alumni nonprofit organization, and it is called Genco Keynotes. The goal of this podcast series is to invite accomplished engineering professionals from different industries and have them share their educational and professional journey. So we believe that their experience, their lifelong learning of these distinguished guests will help guide our youth in their careers and will further help them grow as mature leaders. So today we have a guest, Manpreet Singh Gill. He is a mechanical engineer from Ford Motor Company in Detroit. Before we request Manpreet to share his knowledge with us, I will request Kamaldeep to please educate us about Genco and Genco Bay Area Alumni Organization.
Sure. Thanks, Kurtej. Let me give a quick overview and the mission that we have for Genco. So Genco Bay Area is basically an organization that we have built here in Northern California. It's an organization consisting of alums from Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, Ludhiana. We have approximately 200 families who are regular members for Genco Bay Area. It's a nonprofit organization. Our goal or our mission is basically to emphasize upon the benefits of education. We do arrange a lot of social and charitable functions. And also, basically, we help the new students or the new immigrants who come into US or Canada, right, to help them with whatever information that they need to enhance their careers. So overall, the idea is basically something that we have learned from our careers or from Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College. It's more like giving it back to the community. We're based out of Northern California, as I said earlier, right? It's basically anything. A lot of cities basically around San Francisco are a part of this organization.
Thank you very much, Deep, for sharing the information with us. So now I'll request Manpreet Gill to please share his educational and professional journey with us.
Hi, first of all, thank you, Gurtej and Deep. Thanks for having me. I really like the objective of Genco Bay Area, and we have the same Genco here in Genco, Michigan. It's around the globe. All the graduates from Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, so wherever they are situated, they made a Genco to give back to the community. So start my career. I studied up to 10th grade in Punjab government schools. These are my villages: Achirwal, Chorda, and Bilaspur. And I did my Bachelor of Production Engineering from Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College in '95. And then I did, after that, I worked in India in GNAXL Limited for 1 year. Then I started a master's in industrial material and metallurgy in '99. So I came to US after completing my master at end of '99, like August. And then I did my junior graphics CAD course after getting here. Then I got the job, my first job in General Motors after 4 months. So started in 2000. That's my first working day. Was my first day of my job in US. So it's been 21 years since I'm working. So most of my experience is in automotive. Other than 4 years that I worked at Boeing in aerospace. So 14 years, I worked as a design and release engineer on various automotive components, seat belts, interior trim, body structure, seats, interior. At Boeing also I worked in the interiors. So from last 7 years, I'm working in the vehicle engineering. So I worked in wind noise program management. So currently I'm working in the quality group. So I worked in all the, mostly, big OEM, like GM, Chrysler. So right now I'm at Ford. So it's been 14 years since I'm working at Ford. I think
No,
that's my summary for my.
yeah, no, thank you very much, Manpreet. So I just want to ask you, so like Detroit, it is synonymous to mechanical jobs. So most of us are aware that big companies, big manufacturing companies are there. Will you please share some of the big names, the companies that are in Detroit, and like where other in the United States, some of these big companies like Boeing and Tesla, all their manufacturing plants are?
So yeah, the Detroit is hub for the automotive. So all the big three US manufacturer, GM, Ford, Chrysler, so they are here. Um, Also, they have, I believe there are like 12 manufacturing plant in Michigan that's producing 21, different vehicle programs. And also, it's not only the manufacturer. There are like 100 top the world's topmost supplier, automotive supplier, they are here in Detroit. So, so like the other companies you mentioned, Tesla, so they are situated in California, and the other, Boeing is it's for aerospace, and they are located in Seattle, Washington. So I have brief experience there as well. Um, so in Detroit, there is a big opportunities for engineers. It's not only like mechanical or electrical. It's all type of engineering jobs are here, like software, IT. You can name it. Like every field is being used in the automotive. So I'm glad I'm here in automotive. So the incentive being an automotive is like in case you get laid off or something, you will always find another job in the other auto manufacturing. So you don't have to like move or locate your residence. So that's the plus I considered, when I settled in Detroit. Like for example, in Boeing, uh, that's the only like big company over there. So the negative point is if you get layoff or something, like you have to move from there. So that's I find it's a little bit challenging.
Sure. Aprobaji, I have a question. So I am a mechanical engineer I did mechanical engineering from back in Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, Ludhiana as well. However, I never got a chance actually because after I moved here, I came to California and since then I've been working into just like anyone else, right, into an IT uh,
Mm-hmm.
industry. So just curious, I always wanted to know how does the whole concept works, right from like a concept car that comes in the market that we see usually in auto shows, right? From a concept car until that goes into production. How does this whole process works?
Okay, yeah, I have a slide to explain. So this is a slide. It show the design development process from concept to production. What This is very high level process view. It's like 30,000 airplane view. You're looking. It's very very high level. So and this in this example, I'm showing the vehicle is developed like from scratch. That is rarely happen. Usually, the vehicle is it's not developed from scratch. It's very rare. But for our audience, I chose this example so that they explain better. So the first step in this process is the product planning. First there's a lot of product planning. A lot of market research being conducted for the product planning. Market research along with business case. To be sure that product is needed, the factory capacity is available, and what consumer is we are targeting, to sell the car, and what kind of vehicle is. So all this research and what is the competition. So there's a lot of research when studied. Then is it entry level vehicle or is it premium vehicle? Is it the platform that being used, is it new platform, or you're using mostly we use the existing platform is like underbody where all the suspension is, because that cost billions of dollars. So 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 we have to consider all these attributes, when we're developing, and how the vehicle fits into brand family portfolio, and what's the competition. So all things, we consider it. So after considering this, for example, company decided to develop like this sports car that I'm showing here. So they start with a sketch. So it's just 2D sketch by pencil. It's in the studio. So the sketch is first created, and then it's obviously the sketch is reviewed with higher management, but other team member, you have to get approval that everybody agree. So after get every management alignment, then the clay model, the second step is the clay model is created. um, so these clay models are created to create a 3D CAD data and to visualize the design. Um, so and then from the clay model, then the studio they create this surface, using the software tools. So the software is just the outside, you just don't have any thickness. So the surface is created. Once the surface is created, then that surface is released to the engineering community to work on, to develop the CAD models. So that's what I'm showing. So those are the like part of the concept design. Then once the surface is released to the engineering community, then they start developing the feasibility. Like the surface they created by studio, is that feasible? Can we manufacture that? You can create any shape, but it has to be manufactured. So then the sheet, I'm just giving you an example, the sheet metal, for example. I work in the sheet metal. So what I do is, when I get the surface, I review that surface with my tooling engineer to study that, is it feasible? Then he is going to give me the report, hey, I can manufacture this angle need to be modified, this radius need to be increased. So I get all the feedback, and then I give back to studio. And then I have meeting with them. I said, this is not possible. You have to change the radius here. You have to modify the length, whatever the case I get from tooling engineering. So, and then they work on that. They modify the surface, and then they give the surface back again after a few months. Then we review the surface again, review with the tooling engineering. If he said yes, this surface I can manufacture, I can manufacture in the stamping. So then we start developing the thickness of the model basically. So the outside is good. It's good to go. Then we start working on the inside part. So I'm just to give an example of sheet metal. The same case, all the interior design and the hood design. Everybody is analyzing the surface they received. So everybody working, everybody is giving the feedback to studio. There are different teams, like for the door trim, there's a different team. For the sheet metal, there's a different team. So they have weekly meeting with the studio to go over the results. So basically, so I developed the outside one. It's called body side outer. So we developed that. Then we go inside. Then we added thickness. We gave the holes, slots. The reinforcements. Where all the wiring, all the other electrical module is being attached. So it requires like coordination with all the other groups. There's a lot of coordination. We get request, I need this hole size, I need this slot, I need the weld nut here to attach their module. So we review their requirement, and then I work with my designer to go over here. We need to modify that CAD model. So it's not me. So I said all the departments are working, and so once then the surface that is being developed 4 or 5 times, then eventually that surface is get freezed. It means that the milestone come, then there's a surface freeze, that no more changes after that. If there is any change required, it's going to cost the company a lot of money. It's going to delay the production. So so the surface is frozen, and then we are working inside. And then it comes system engineering. The system engineering group is so basically they do the packaging, and they make sure all the right the process and methods are followed, the best practice being used, while developing each and every model. So they check, make sure that all the parts fit, there is no interference between the parts, and there is enough clearances. uh, for example, in generic term, like in automotive, the clearance between two parts is 6 millimeter, but for the moving parts it's more. So just to give you example, but there is a lot of other design rule, for each system, each function. So there is a lot of work involved. uh, so they, they check every, so there are different departments, obviously. So they check the layout and packaging. After the layout packaging is done, the same thing, here the powertrain team, they are developing their engine with the same method. So either there's carryover engine or it's new. So they are developing their engine. Then it's come vehicle integration. Vehicle integration is basically the overall vehicle. With the engine, everything included. So the vehicle engineering, vehicle integration. Sorry. So they are responsible for the overall vehicle in terms of how the vehicle ride is. You know how the handling is, and how the vehicle quiet is, what's the performance. They are responsible for the weight of the vehicle as well. So so they're responsible for overall vehicle. And there's a lot of testing is done. Once the CAE testing is done by different groups, and also the part level testing is also done to make sure the part don't fail, and also the system level. So the vehicle integration responsible system level. So after everything is checked, double checked, all the testing CA is completed, then we release, then we have the design freeze. That's like major milestone, when the design get freeze, no more changes, we call it also pencil down. I mean, we're done with the design, we work on execution now. Uh, so so after that, the CAD model is sent to the various tool shop to make the prototype tools. So the prototype tools are being built by, some of it built by, like the sheet metal stamping. They are mostly built by the OEMs, but the other parts are built by supplier. So then the first major milestone where we will see the actual vehicle, it's the prototype first build. So this build is so the prototype. It's a little bit challenging, because the first time building the parts, there is a lot of issues. So it's a little bit stressful, but eventually, all the issues get resolved, and the vehicle get produced. Then we use these prototype vehicle to do the testing, the physical testing, the crash testing, safety testing, and the component level testing, you name it. All the testing is done, and then we certify that vehicle to the FMBSS standard. The FMBSS is the safety, it's called, this is the like government standard. We get certification. So I did that myself, when I was doing the seat belts and the seat anchorage system, because it's safety parts. So you have to get certification, you have to do the test. So after testing and validation, if everything is certified, then the next phase is then we kick off the production tool. The parts get kicked, the production tool being kicked off to make the part from the actual production tool. So here in the prototype, it's kind of handmade. Some of the parts even handmade. They are not like production tools, because it gets very costly to make changes. So the testing and validation is done. So after the testing and validation, then there are like 4 or 5 build here, the pre-production builds. They're basically the vehicle, the parts are made from production tool. So the prototype, so the purpose of those pre-production build is to okay, I forgot one thing. The prototype usually built in not in the actual plant, is usually built in a special plant, where all the prototype vehicle being built. So after the testing, the pre-production, these builds, there are like 5 builds. They are going to be built in the actual plant to see the plant's capability, and also to train the plant team, because they are not familiar. That's the first time they're assembling it. So all the issues, previous issues are resolved that we in the prototype, and also some of the testing is also done on the the production tool. So those are like cell level unit. Even they are pre-production build, they can be sold to the customer, and that's it is. And then the vehicle is ready for the customer.
Nice.
I mean,
it's a huge process. I mean, it's very
interesting. It's huge process. It's require. There's a lot of milestone involved here. There's a lot of deliverable, a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of big work stream going on. It's usually take like 3 years, like from here concept to here. Usually take 3 years, and overall, like from product planning, it takes 5 years. And my group, where I am in vehicle engineering, we start involved here in the product planning group, just to make sure, because the vehicle targets, the quality targets, they are established early in the product planning. So we have to make sure, that we have the right content, we can meet those targets, the quality targets.
Got it. So when you guys do, let me ask, my first question is, for people who are just getting graduated or who are still into, like, that's a 3rd or 4th year of mechanical engineering, right? So during this whole process, what are the different roles, or what are the different jobs that people can apply for? Through all these, it's a huge curve that I see, right from the product planning until delivery of the vehicle. So do you mind sharing, like, what are the different roles or the different jobs that people should be looking for from a mechanical engineering perspective?
Like the design, there's a lot of jobs in the design. Like if somebody is trained in the CAD, any CAD software, he can easily get the design jobs, even if, like, fresh college graduate. If he has the CAD skills, he can work, he can do the CAD. And some people have done like masters, in mechanical engineering, they have CAE experience. So there's in the vehicle integration phase, there is a lot of CAE testing is being conducted as well. Before we kick off the production tool, the testing is done in the CAE. So there's opportunity there in the CAE as well. And like there's an IT department. Their jobs there too. And when the vehicle go to the prototype, then the manufacturing job started. There is opportunity in the manufacturing plant job. There's a lot of different types of job in the plant as well. So they create a lot of opening here when the prototype kicked off, and in the production, it's many more jobs when the production starts. A lot of people needed here.
Okay. And how about assembly? If I look into this whole concept, right? So one is more about planning. You build a concept car, right? You bring it into production. Once it's in there, then we do basically, the assembly starts, right? Do you mind sharing a little bit about assembly as well?
Yeah, sure. Then. So this is the assembly plant. So there are 2 main big section in the plant. Usually it's all in the plant, One is called body and bite. That's the body shop assembly, where all the sheet metal assemblies along with underbodies are joined, sealed, and painted. And the second big section in the plant is the trim assembly, where all the interior parts, electrical parts, chassis, suspension, engine, transmission, they all get assembled. And then there is the end of the line. So For example, here, looking at in the PowerPoint, so the stamping is where all the sheet metal parts created. So they send to the body and white. This is body and white, basically body shop. So in the body shop, where all the sheet metal get joined together, welded together, and then it go through the paint. So this is like one area usually. So the paint is done here. So the vehicle is painted here, and then it dropped to the trim line. So in the trim line, where all the other electrical wiring harnesses, all the modules, interior, chassis, all get to put together, assembled together. And in the same way, you have, and also there are some small separate lines in the plant. Mostly, like there's a separate engine line where all the engine parts are assembled together, and there's a separate door lines also where the door, like fully assembled, and then it come to assemble to the onto the vehicle. So this is very high level. I would like to show you the video actually. That's like better showing the perspective, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It's like
That would be very helpful to visualize the whole concept.
yes, and there's a lot of video on YouTube, so I recommend your viewer to watch it. So I'm just showing you one example. Okay. So this is the Kansas City assembly plant, the F-150 video. So this is the sheet metal. All the robots are, they're going to weld. So the one vehicle is, yeah. This is the underbody.
Mhm.
So the engine and transmission being joined. So here the top and the bottom is, married. So then the IP being installed. The windshield and the back glass being installed. Here they're installing the moonroof.
That's nice. How long does it take from end to end for a car? Let's say a Ford
Well, I
150.
mean, like you can say every minute the vehicle is being produced.
Okay.
So at the end of the line, so this is the end of the line. So every minute, I think 52 seconds, the vehicle is being produced. Obviously, it's taking more time, but at the end of the line, so one vehicle per minute.
It doesn't matter what model it is. It's a 150 or Explorer or an Expedition. Doesn't matter.
No, some are more depending on how complicated the vehicle is.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's very interesting. So it's very learning. You guys learn a lot in the plant. I launched a lot of vehicle. I learned a lot. So I recommend people to definitely work once in assembly plant.
And what kind of role does the mechanical engineers play in the assembly line?
Well, we call it PVT engineer. Basically, they are liaison between the plant and the design team in Dearborn. So, for example, if there is an issue in the plant, if there is an issue, design issues, then they work with the design team to fix that issue, to modify their design. So they are in liaison, between the plant side. They still report to the Dearborn, engineering team, but their full-time job is in the plant, and they also responsible, for the warranty to make sure the vehicle is, performing and good in the warranty. They're responsible. They're watching that, what people are complaining in the field.
Got it. Okay. A separate question from this one. So this is regarding the new technology, the EV space, right? So I mean, a lot of companies, they're moving from regular IC engines into EV engines, right? Basically, you can name it like Tesla, Lucid, even I think GM is planning to be all electric by 2035. So with that change, right, that's happening, do you like what sort of shift that you see in the mechanical space with that?
I mean, it's the mechanical is still going to be there. Even the electric vehicle is coming, is coming more. It's very fast coming. What you're going to have the upper body. The only thing is the scope is still there, but I see bigger scope for electrical. Because all these new vehicle, they have lot of new feature, like that feature we call data, drive assist technology feature, vehicle drive themselves, auto mode. There's a lot of automation. So there's a lot of electrical requirement. I think electrical probably have better future. Just for you give me an example, like few months ago, General Motor hired like 3,000 engineer in electrical, just in electrical, because the whole auto industry right now they're investing in the BEV, the BEV vehicle. In Ford, we are working on basically all the programs that we have. We have one electrical BEV vehicle. Like the F-150 is the top selling vehicle from last 25 years. And so we are launching the electric next year, and we launched Mustang this year, the fully electric. So to name it, Explorer is coming out in electric as a BEV too. So the industry is moving fast toward the electrical vehicles.
Yeah.
So very exciting. It's exciting time.
It's going to be a new phase, right? Definitely, as you said, I think the body is going to be there. The mechanical parts are going to be there. I think it's more like a technology on the top of that might change a bit, but the rest of the car is going to be the same. Yeah.
Can you guys see me? I don't see you anymore.
Yeah.
Yes,
we can
see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so now we more understand the whole process. Like earlier, we used to see, one vehicle, its model is coming every 3 or 5 years. Now we know that there is a process involved. Whenever a new vehicle is initiated from start to end, or we can correlate with Tesla too, everybody. So we saw that company newly built, like in 5-10 years. So
Yes.
from scratch. So there are many like you mentioned about CAD, that is computer aided design. So if somebody have those kinds of certifications, or there are multiple job opportunities in plants. So can you share with us some tips if one wants to land into an automotive industry or the aerospace industry, because you have worked in the aerospace industry too, and that is a dream profession for many of us.
Yes, sure. So this is a slide I created. Tips for landing a job. So this is obviously for newcomer who just graduated or is in the final year and is looking for a job. So they can utilize this. So the first point I would like to emphasize is work a lot of time on your resume. Spend a lot of time, take advice from your senior professional regarding your resume. Search Google, they have all kind of information is there. Uh, and the try to keep your resume to 2 pages. Should not be more than 2 pages. Um, and also in the job, in the resume building, you can use the study the job description. Basically, if you make sure, I mean, the reason to study job description is make sure to include some technical words, what the code they're using, in the job description. That's very helpful, so that your resume can be auto pick for interview. Usually these days the resume is auto pick by software. So if you don't have those technical words in your resume, they're not going to be picked. So work on your resume, talk to your senior, talk to other professional, and study this job description. So I would say, spend as much as time you can. This will be, pay off you for rest of your life. Um, there are more some tips. If you do not have any job experience, like freshly graduate, then you can include in your resume, some degree project, thesis work, trainings, or your other project you did. If any job require technical skills, you can mention that you are familiar with it after study that specific skills. Like if you don't know what they're asking, just Google is your best friend. I think for job search, because you can search anything, you will get information, you will get educated. Just before you go for interview, I think study the requirement of the job is very, so that you can say you're familiar with, instead of saying no, I don't know about it. At least you can say, I'm familiar with it. Then they say, yeah, he can develop he knows about it, then he can work on it. And for the most of engineering job, especially like mechanical, electrical, in automotive, even the civil, the CAD is, I think, the minimum must skill that every engineer should have. So I would recommend must take formal CAD training on CAD software, like CATIA, or any software, the same basics. If you know one software really well, you can easily learn the other one. You can learn them in yourself. So the CAD is a must. That's minimum, I think. And I also recommend to learn CAE skills. So I think the masters, people who going for master, they have more opportunity to learn CAE. But if you can learn, do the crash course, so those are very useful. And also, you can use the Microsoft tool, learn that Excel, Word, PowerPoint. Those are like tools we do every day. It doesn't matter, either you're design or engineering, especially Excel. We use daily. We spend a lot of time. So this is very helpful. And so make your the so the best way is to find job in these days. Most of the company, they want you to post your profile and resume in the company's career section. So I'll give you example in the next slide how to post in the career section. um, and the number 7, make sure continuous follow up with employer. So I want to give example to your viewer, my example. So when I came in 99, I didn't have any experience. I had only CAD skill. So I applied job to one of the recruiter, and he told me that, hey, Mr. Singh, don't worry, I will get you the job. So he promised me, but I follow up with every week. I trusted him. I said he's going to get me job. So I follow up every week, every week. He was a start. Then eventually in December, after a couple of months, he got me job in General Motor, even without the interview. So follow up is I recommend. So and it shows the dedication. Yeah, that you're dedicated. You're interested in the job. And also, keep updating your resume, where like on all the jobs, job companies, keep updating your resume. If you're posted there, it shows that you are you're looking for a job. And also I recommend like first time job interview, you know, recommend to practice interview with your senior, with your friends, you know, or with family, just so that you're confident. So those are some tips. So the next section I want to show you like how to apply job or internship or co-op, you know, in any engineering field, especially job in Michigan. So I'm going to,
Yeah, no, internship, that is very important topic because lots of college going students, they struggle to apply or struggle to find the internships. So like, and what's the job process, where to find the job opportunities, how to go through the websites. So yeah, if you share that, that would be very helpful.
yes, yes, yeah. Okay. Okay. So, okay, so the first step is just somebody search for um, automotive jobs. Such that, you know, like in Detroit, you will get lot of hit. You will see automotive job, all the links. Like this is the Plymouth. This is like they are all in Detroit. Um, so, but if you're looking for specifically, like for example, somebody is looking for a job at Ford, so then he need to do is say Ford Carrier. Just enter only two words, Ford Carrier. So you go to the Ford Carrier section, or you can just go directly here, job opportunities. So you're in the Ford Carrier section. So first step is you post your resume under Carrier. But if you're looking for, you want to see first the openings are, you know, like this is the global. So you can see the jobs here globally in all the countries. So I'm going to give you an example. You're looking for a job in the United States, and if you're a student, you can go here student. If you're graduated, or or you're still a student, you're looking for summer internship, you know, like. So I want to give you an example for student. So you're a student and you're going to be graduate soon, so just go and then just select and see it, all these job openings show up. So I want to highlight one job, this one. So this is the Ford college graduate. So the Ford has this program, FCG. It's called Ford College Graduate. Basically, it's the job, you know, for the who student who are just graduated from college. Um, so I dealt with a lot of students, and this is a really good program. Uh, so you know, this Ford College is a great program for student after graduation. In this program, you will work in all different department function. You know, so you get to work on all the different departments. So you work 6 months in each department. Like for example, you work 6 months in CAD. You're going to work 6 months in the vehicle engineering, or 6 months you go work in the chassis, or you can work in the purchasing. So you get to work in every most of the engineering departments, and you also get to work 6 months in the plant too. So this program, you know, it's there is a higher chances for promotion as well. So this is highly recommendable for freshly student. And you know, all the requirements are mentioned here. You know, you have to have 3.4 GPA, and these are all the field. You know, software, mechanical, you name it, all the field. So they are saying the minimum is 3 GPA. So I dealt with a lot of students, and I have noticed that, you know, all the FCGs, they have become supervisor manager like in a few years. So and also another thing, you know, make sure when you're applying for the training, we get a lot of requests. Happy training starting next month, and then, you know, hey, they told me, hey, we're looking for Ford. Can you get us the training in next month? And mostly it's failed. So I would recommend, you know, at least start 1 year in advance when you're looking for training. And mostly the training option, the trainings are You can apply through your university in the career section, in your counseling section in your university, or you can apply here, like directly, uh, like I mentioned in the career section. Like this is for Ford, so all the company have this similar method, under careers. And you can search, they have internship program as well. They have all the requirement, what they need. Everything is, it's laid out here.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty confident not every company has this kind of the program like we have Ford college graduates, and not everybody will be aware of these programs because normally when one wants to apply for a job opportunity, they ask, okay, 2 year experience, 3 year experience at least. So no
And
company has this kind of program.
yes. So I mean, the Ford college graduate, I mean, it's named for like freshly graduate. But I recommend start applying like when you're a final year. Um, so I mean, the Ford definitely have this program. I don't know. I think GM has it too. I don't know what the other companies, but mostly, I mean, they prefer a fresh graduate. And their salaries start around like 70,000 on the FCG. So they, I mean, start with 17, and like within 5 years they get 200K, very easily with the raise and.
Right, and internship, that is very important. Internship or training. Normally, what the trend is, if a student gets an internship with a company, they do a good job, they get familiar with the team. There are very high chances they get full-time opportunity with those companies.
Exactly. Yeah. Usually the same group hire mostly, like if somebody get training in the specific department, if he do good job, he will easily get to hire in the same department. Yeah, that's a very good point, Ritesh.
Right. So, can you please share us with some of the interview tips? Like you have been through lots of interviews, you have selected lots of candidates. Also, some of the tips that our candidates can get help from.
Yes, yeah. So these are the types of interview and questions. So the automotive interview is behavior situational type. They have standard 4 or 5 question. So I highlighted here red because it's very important. So before any interview, I recommend prepare the 5 problem solving example in a details, like what was the problem, what was the root cause, what was the interim containment action, what was permanent containment action, and what was your role and how did you solve it. So develop those 5 like on the paper, develop, create it. So mainly the generic question, the first is, briefly explain your work experience, your generic question. You just go, over your resume, just high level, like spend 5 minutes. And the second is a very standard question. Describe a time when you had to use problem solving skill at work. Explain what example and what was the problem? How did you solve it? What was your role in a team? Did you involve the team? Describe a time with example when you use innovation to solve problem. So if you have the 5 problems, you already have in your mind, you can, explain one problem here. Um, and this is also standard question is describe a situation at work when you had conflict with co-worker. So company want to know how you how you react when you had conflict with co-worker. Um, so this is kind of tricky question. I would always recommend, like stay positive. Don't say too much negative about if you're giving example. Just stay in like a positive way. The next one is what are your strengths and weaknesses? Strength, you can say, team player, problem solving skills, I meet deliverable on time. The weakness is tricky. When you say weakness, what your weakness? So don't really list your weakness. try to say positive things. Like for example, I give always example when they ask me this question. I said I do not have patience. I cannot wait. If I need information from other group, it's hard for me to wait. So I mean, it's not really weakness. It to tell your employer that he want to work on time. He want to meet deliverable on time. So he's anxious. So this is for example. And then at the end, prepare list of question in order to must ask the employer during job interview at the end. So they will ask you, you have any question for us? So don't say I don't have any question. Make sure you have a couple of questions. So you can ask here, for the job, what kind of work is going to be? Is any, is travel required? So it will show that you're interested, you're passionate about the job, and so ask those questions. And the number 6 is ask for the whoever the manager is, ask about his contact information, his email, so that you can send thank you letter for the interview. That's very, very important. When I experienced, like when I sent interview letter, I got the job offer same day. So this is a huge plus. It show that you are very formal. You write really good. It show your ability to like write good letters. So make sure you get the contact information. And also the number 7 is take all the whatever the certificate you have during the degree or your work, take with you with the interview, so you can show that that I have the certificate, I accomplished this, I solved this. That impress a lot. And number 8 is you must have you take 3 professional reference with you in the interview.
No, thank you, Manpreet. So I think it seems like this is cross functional. So in any industry, these situational questions, these can summarize your experience. So Deep, as you're working in the management domain, in software domain, and very much familiar or work in the hiring process. So what's your opinion about these?
I agree with you and Manpreet. I think this is very generic stuff that everybody needs to be prepared. You need to make sure what you're talking about. I mean, it's basically that this is like, although you call it behavioral questions, right? I mean, but it doesn't matter what industry are you going with, right? They're gonna start asking you right from your first pitch, like, what tell us about yourself, and then they usually start getting the questions from that, basically the summary that you're providing, right? So yeah, prepare yourself with these questions that Manpreet Bhaji has talked about, and you have a formal closing as well, as you shared, right? So make sure you are basically sending your thank you notes to your interviewer, to your HRs, to your recruiters, and make sure you're in touch with them. That shows that besides the formal thank yous, it also shows that you are interested, because you are following up, right? And you want to be part of the company. So all these things, I think, get better. And you, Manpreet, you are right spot on all these things.
Yeah. And study about the company also, that show passionate, that I really like this car, that car, that this is my dream job. When I was growing up, I was looking for working in Ford, or Boeing. Just show you're really passionate about it. They're looking for a passionate candidate.
Yeah.
No,
So this is only, like first time, I think after first job, everybody there's no problem after that. So the first job is hard, that you have to, do these, prepare well for the first time.
Yeah, you're right. Once you have experience, then you can share your stories, right? Then it's all about storytelling.
Yeah,
absolutely right. I mean, when you don't have much of an experience, then coming up with these kind of examples, it's a little hard, actually.
Yes, yeah.
No, thank you very much, Manpreet. So before we wrap up our conversation, so what's your last message for a school and college going student?
Well, I think for Indian students, like for India, Punjab especially, just I am, graduated from like village. I studied in village and government schools. So if I can do this, you can do that. So be confident. You will, if you have engineering degree, you will have a really good career. So be confident. Um, and for the students here, who's a lot of I know notice a lot of people are coming on masters. So before they pick the courses or the majors, I think they need to see what is their passion is, and then go in that field. uh, have some research in the job description, see in what field there are more jobs. For example, CAE, if you like to do CAE, there are more jobs. Do the master in CAE field, and then start job not after graduation. Start like 6 months before you end it. So that will help. That will save some time. And for Boeing, I forgot to mention. The Boeing aerospace, uh, the jobs are not that hard. It's not too hard to get in as well. The main requirement is you must have the green card or citizenship. Those are the main requirement. And the Canadian citizen people, they cannot get job there. Sometimes they allow it, but mostly they require the green card and citizenship. But the Canadian citizen, they can get job in automotive here through the TN visa, so it's not hard. So if you're Canadian citizen, yeah, you can get job here easily. That should not be any problem. The visa problem.
No, thank you very much, Manpreet. We sincerely appreciate your time. We learned a lot towards the opportunities, options, and some of the routes that our school and college going students have in mechanical as well as the manufacturing industry. So how a college going student who is interested in to prepare towards their dream profession, so what options, opportunities they have. So with that, I thank our viewers for watching. So please send us your questions that needs to be answered, your feedback, your suggestions for the topics that you like to listen in future. With that, we will be back with our next episode. Stay healthy and stay informed.
Thanks, Ritesh. Thanks, Pankaj Padi. Thank you.
Thank you, Gurdev. Thank you, Gurdev. Thank you for the opportunity. It's